Afternoon, everybody. So today we are looking at compound inequalities. This is going to build on what we did on Thursday night for notes, which was just regular solving regular inequalities. Now we're going to be looking at compound inequalities. We're going to be talking about some of the details of that. So the objective for this lesson is students to be able to solve 10 compound inequalities with at least 80% accuracy on their 10 question assignment. So you'll have a 10 question assignment tomorrow when you come into class. There's only two definitions, converging and diverging, which you need to make sure you find the definition of those and then have those in your notes. So first thing we are going to look at, and I'm not sure why. I should have arrows on it. Okay, come on now. Okay. Well, I'm not sure why, but this does have arrowheads on it, so let me actually, I'll just make a new one here. It'll be easier. Okay, so we're going to start by solving, or not solving because these are actually both solved. So we're going to start by just graphing these, which should be pretty easy to do. So you have n is greater than -2, and you have n is less than 6. So with the compound inequalities, you're going to graph them together. So I'm going to put 0 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's -4. There's -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 6. And now you're going to graph. So the first one, n is greater than -2. This is an open circle because there's no equal line underneath it. So I put an open circle at -2. Greater than, -4 is less than -2. So 0 is greater than -2. So I'm going to graph towards 0. And then at 6, again, I'm going to put an open circle. And I'm actually going to shorten this up a little bit. It's less than, 7 is greater than 6, but 4 is less than, so I'm going to go this direction. So this would be the graph. I have also seen it done this way when it's in between the two. I've just seen it with the two open circles and a line in between. That's acceptable. But the biggest thing you need to understand is, since it's and statements mean that both have to be true. If both are not true, then it is not a true statement. So, for example, the reason why this line less than 6 stops at -2 is because if I go to -4, that doesn't fit both of the criteria. It only fits one. Okay? And if you guys did your definitions, this is also what we call a converging inequality. Look at example number 2 again. These are pretty easy so far because we're not actually having to solve anything. These are already actually solved for you, which makes it a little bit easier. Okay, and we have 0, that's -2, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and t is less than 0. Again, it's an open circle at 0. Less than, 3 is greater than 0. -2 is less than 0. So I'm going to draw my arrow this direction. Or t is greater than or equal to, which is, since it's equal to, it's a closed dot. 5, so 7 is greater than 5, so I'm going to graph in this direction. Okay, now this one, this is why it's an or, because if I use -2, it's true here, right? So if t equals -2, it's true here, but this one is false. So this is why it's or, okay? With or statements, if one is true and one is false, that is a true statement. If both are true, that is a true statement. The only time they're not both, or the only time that won't be true is if both are false, okay? With or, you can think of it as either or, so one or the other one. And that's why these arrows are going away from each other, and this is what we call divergent. Okay? Also with converging, we need to know that we can actually write this as one inequality, which would be -2 less than n less than 6. Okay? So this is the same thing as this up here. But because my answers are in between, I can write it as one inequality as it is here. So now we get to example number 3. Okay? And example number 3 is going to be similar. But this time it's not quite as easy. First of all, I see that the inequality is written together, which isn't a big deal. But I also see that this isn't just m, this is m minus 4. So I need to solve this. Well, I could break it up as m minus 4 greater than or equal to -3. And m minus 4 is less than -1. Or, and I could do both of these separately and get the same answer. Okay, or an easier way to do this is, well, if I was going to solve this one, let's say, I'd have to add 4 to both sides. And I'd get m is greater than or equal to 1. Well, I can do the same thing, but I just have to know that when I add the 4, I have to add it to all 3 sections. So this is 1 less than or equal to m less than 3. And if I was doing it this way, you actually see that I get the same thing. M greater than or equal to 1 and m less than 3. So now I'm going to graph it. I have, let's go with 1, 0, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a closed circle because it's less than or, excuse me, it's greater than or equal to 1. And I have an open circle here, and I connect them. Or again, I could do it like this. Okay? And there's my answer. So here's the part of it, that's the solving part, and then this is the graphing part. Okay? So now you get to example number 4. And here we have an or statement. So on this one you can see that I have 2 inequalities, but they're not written together because this is an or statement. The and statements can be written together. The or statements have to be written separate. So again, I'm going to solve these. So I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides. I get 3t less than -9. Divide by 3. I'm going to get t is less than -3. Or subtract 5, -4t less than -4. Divide by -4. And I'm going to get t is, excuse me, because I divided by a negative, I have to flip the sign, which makes it greater than 1. I'm going to go ahead and graph 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have t is less than -3. It's open circle and it goes away from 3 to the left. And I have t is greater than 1, so it was -2, -1, this was 0. Open circle again, and greater than 1 is to the right of 1, and this would give me my answer. So again, this is what we call a divergent. And this one was what we called convergent. Okay. So make sure you guys have your definitions done, and make sure you have all your steps done, as well as your notes completed. And turn these in tomorrow. Come ready to work tomorrow, guys. We'll see you later.